I think, it's both realistic and absurdist. Escape from the Garden. I think it's hilariously funny, although I think it's very touching and heartwarming. I think you can come away having learned something you didn't know, many things probably you didn't know before. And I'm grateful to be able to write it and to have it and to be able to produce it and to have actors as brilliant as the actors I have are. It's all good. Hi, Sarah Hunter. The other half was Sandra Cruze of Two Heads Are Better Productions. You've got to come and see our recent adventure, Escape from the Garden, and you're going to find out all about it now. Tracy in the Kitchen, the question is, how did I have to do this and how did this idea come? I took the Padua Players Summer Workshop. I think it was 2018, so it was about like 3 or 4 years ago. And I started writing this play, Tracy in the Kitchen, just because I sat down and I started thinking about this woman who has put herself in self-inflicted exile in her kitchen, and she won't leave her kitchen. And then I started to explore her. And then I started really having fun with her. Oh, so I did a little 10-minute presentation of Tracy in the Kitchen. Well, now I thought, oh my God, I'm really fascinated with Tracy and why she's locked up in this kitchen. And then I thought, oh my God, she's a failed actress who's writing a play about Marie Antoinette. So this is a play within a play. Tracy's ride to the guillotine, of course, is that she does Blanche DuBois in Streetcar Named Desire and totally bombs. Well, now her ego is shattered. She's totally shattered, and she loses everything. The house in Encino. She's an actress who's done 5 seasons of Who's Geneva, and now she decides to go down to the Ahmanson to do Blanche DuBois, and a critic from the LA Times completely destroys her. So she locks herself up in her Two Palms Villa apartment in Van Nuys with a mini fridge and starts inflicting her histrionic crisis, which is, I think, hysterically funny, on her family and anybody that walks in the apartment. She makes them read lines to this horrible play she's writing about Marie Antoinette. She's not conscious that she does view her life as parallel in its structure to Marie Antoinette, somebody who's been riding high, born with a silver spoon, who gets her head chopped off. In her case, her career. And it goes on and on. She gets the maintenance man to think he's going to sleep with her, and she doesn't. And her husband, Carl's a high school English teacher. Her daughter is an actress and lands a part as Bianca in Taming of the Shrew. And Tracy's horrible play she's writing, she begs her daughter to take it down to the director at Boston Court to read her play. And of course, she gets a terrible review. But the idea for the play about a woman whose ego is shattered, who thinks her life is supposed to have some sort of importance through the adoration of her fans and her audience, discovers what really matters by the second act, which is her family. Because Marie Antoinette comes to her in the kitchen, fully dressed, and kicks her ass. And so the idea I think that most of us have is that we don't like to think that we're narcissistic. We don't like to think we've got an ego that's fragile. When it comes down to it, if we're lucky, we may discover that indeed we are fragile and we're human and we have egos. And if we're willing to reinvent the way we see ourselves, we can then change our actions and probably get what we're really supposed to get and really want to get. And Tracy rises from rises from the ashes like a phoenix by the end of the play, and ends up getting something that's real for herself. But she has the shenanigans through the whole thing, and she's very funny. Getting the Amazon delivery guy to read lines of Louis XVI and the Vito's pizza guy. He says, well, I can't act. I'm not an actor. What am I reading here? And she says, well, you're reading the lines of Louis XVI. And this is the part where Louis XVI, and he says, all right, lady. And of course, they all run out of the apartment because she's always in her bathrobe. And they run the hell out of there because she's a crazy woman. She's lit on fire trying to create this play called Escape from the Garden, where, as the reviewer says, Escape from the Garden, written by Miss Tracy Greene, is no escape. And he just destroys it. So she rises up and creates a one-woman show as Marie Antoinette and takes it down to a 99-seat theater. She never gives up her obsession. My personal obsession, which is how I got Marie Antoinette in there to parallel a falling actress, is I started reading about her maybe 20 years ago. And I've read so many books about Marie Antoinette that when I took the private tour at Versailles, the guide said to me, you want to go ahead and do the tour because you know more about her than I do. I keep reading and reading and reading about her. And here's what fascinates me. This is a woman born of the 11th child of the Empress of Austria. She had more than everything given to her as a child. She was a princess. And she ended up, basically, Thomas Jefferson said Marie Antoinette was the cause of the French Revolution. She ended up being the most vilified, most detested woman in Europe, and certainly in all of France, and had her head chopped off 9.5 months after hubby, Louis XVI, had his head chopped off. And so I became interested in a story that was the reverse of Cinderella, the reverse there. And so she began to fascinate me. So it took about 3 years to write this play and rewrite it, 3 or 4. And then I was able to figure out a sensibility to make Tracy and Marie Antoinette kind of parallel characters. Only Tracy's reversal comes in time for her not to be beheaded. When she reads her review about the terrible play she wrote in her kitchen there in Van Nuys, she says to her daughter, oh, this is the director's critique. And Diane says to her daughter, Mother, I asked you not to make me do this. I asked you not to make me take this play down for the director to read. And Tracy says, is this my ride to the guillotine? Which in fact it is. And then she has to put her head back on and decide to do a one-woman show to give Marie Antoinette some honor rather than this crap that we've heard coming, where she gets everybody to read this terrible play she's writing. Sandy started reading my play because we read each other's works because we co-write our series together. We're Not Dead Yet. And she fell in love with Tracy, thought she was hysterically funny. And I said, well, great. Then you've got to play Tracy. And she said, oh my God, I'd kill to play Tracy. What actress doesn't want to be on stage for 2 hours? She doesn't ever leave the stage. So we started in rehearsals. And then she would call me and say, I'm going to kill you. She'd say, I am so angry with you because it's so hard to memorize 2 hours worth of material, never leave stage. So finally, as it continued on and she started falling in love with Tracy, because Tracy's she's a narcissist. Every time her daughter says, oh, I just got cast as Bianca in Shrew, Tracy says, I was a wonderful Kate when I did Kate down at the fountain, and she always brings it back to herself. So I think Sandy was concerned that Tracy might not be lovable. And Sandy has done such a good job making Tracy real, such a brilliant job, I think she has, that you absolutely adore her by the time the play's over. And you can feel that narcissistic, self-centeredness kind of vanquish from her, drain away, because often when we bottom out on bad behavior, I'm speaking for myself. When I bottom out on bad behavior, I can usually rise up and get better. And that's what the heroine does. So she's having a wonderful time doing it. I think she's perfect for it. What do I want the audience to get out of Escape from the Garden? I want them to be entertained. I want to do what theater is supposed to do. Teach you something new, startle you, give you something to think about and talk about, and have a hell of a good time. And, maybe cry a little, be inspired, maybe get some tears. Hold on. Yeah, be inspired, have a great time, be moved, have something to think about. All the reasons I love theater. What do I look for when I'm at my own production, which I am, because I help one of the actresses get in and out of a costume in the lobby. So I sit at the back. I'm looking for how the actors are performing. I'm looking for whatever I can find out I need to change. I'm looking for whatever works. I'm looking for both. And I'm looking to see if the audience is getting it. Why should people come to see Escape from the Garden, aka Tracy in the Kitchen? I think if you want to find out more about acting, because Tracy is an actress and she talks about that a lot. If you want to find out more about the showbiz and entertainment world and how it emotionally affects somebody, you should come to see Escape from the Garden. I think if you want to find out more about Marie Antoinette, you should come to see Escape from the Garden. I think if you want a good laugh, you definitely come to see Samantha called it hysterical. I think it's hysterical, and I wrote it. And if you also want to cry a little bit, because Marie Antoinette had some depth and had a very bad ending, come to see it. There's a lot of reasons. The actors are wonderful. The theater is precious and sweet. It's a good environment. When somebody is welcoming and nice, you have a better experience. And I guess what I have always felt about theater is that it is an experience, a unique and wonderful experience. I think, it's both realistic and absurdist. Escape from the Garden, I think it's hilariously funny, although I think it's very touching and heartwarming. I think you can come away having learned something you didn't know. Many things probably you didn't know before. And I'm grateful to be able to write it and to have it and to be able to produce it and to have actors as brilliant as the actors I have are. It's all good. So I'm Sarah Hunter. I'm one half of Two Heads or Better Productions. Sandra Cruze and I have a website that we want you to go on, Two Heads or Better Productions. You can see our series, We're Not Dead Yet, where we do crazy antics as senior citizens, which we are. And Escape from the Garden is our most recent project. I wrote it. I co-produced it. Sandy co-produced and stars in it. We have a fabulous cast, which has been nothing but a dream to work with. We're at the darling Two Roads Theater in Studio City on Tujunga Avenue. There are only 48 seats, so I suggest you go online to eventbrite.com and save yourself a seat. Get a ticket now. We've gotten a fabulous review, well-deserved, and I'm happy, and I hope you come and see it, and I guarantee you will laugh.